from that moment on last night, Dodgers never looked back. Freddie Freeman tying World Series history, homering in his 5th consecutive Fall Classic game, jump-started the Dodgers in the top of the first. And again, they never looked back, taking a commanding 3-0 lead into Game 4, scheduled in the Bronx tonight, just after 8 a.m. Eastern. Welcome to World Series Game Day, 8 p.m. Eastern, that is. Welcome to World Series Game Day with Sean Casey, Matt Vasgersian back for Game 4. Man, we have a lot to react to after last night. We're going to look forward to tonight. A lot on Luis Gil. Yankees lineup has to come alive. We're going to visit with Gary Sheffield, who's played for both of these brands and has been watching the World Series. I got to ask you, before we get into the highlight and the analysis, if you're a Yankee fan right now, knowing that only one team has ever come back in a best-of-7 postseason series from being down 0-3, what's your mindset today?
You're holding on to hope. I mean, you don't feel super confident, but you're holding on to hope that, you know what, a team has done it before, and they did it against the Yankees. You know, maybe we can do it tonight.
Yeah, and if you're a Dodger fan, you are on the precipice of complete elation, thinking about the unthinkable, which is potentially a sweep. This doggone thing might be over tonight, Case.
I can't believe that. I would never have thought when these teams lined up, two juggernauts, like we had it all lined up, the two best teams in baseball, that we'd be talking about a sweep right now.
Yeah, so what are the morning papers saying about what happened last night in the Bronx? As you can imagine, the Daily News is not pulling any punches. In fact, none of the New York dailies are. Temple of Broom talking about the potential for a 4-game Dodgers sweep. New York Newsday, Brinks, Bombers, Yanks frustrated by Dodgers pitching, down 3-0 in a series hole. And then how about this? The Post used the same photo of Juan Soto. This one's my favorite.
Oh, man.
We waited for this? I mean, you were there last night.
I was.
And according to everybody I've spoken to, including yourself, the Freeman homer just kind of sucked the life out of the joint.
It felt like Yankee Stadium was ready to, you know, they were ready to go. Everyone's cheering. Then Freeman homers. And from there on, it was just like, wah, wah. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, man.
Yeah, well, let's get to the highlights then. For those that didn't watch how it unfolded last night, and it started with a 4-pitch walk to Shohei Ohtani. These are all heaters that Clark Schmidt couldn't find the handle on, Case.
Yeah, looked a little nervous right there, trying to find that zone, maybe a little anxious.
And so with the man on, Ohtani grabbing his collar to keep that shoulder secure, Freddie Freeman did it again, 2-0 Dodgers.
Man, he got that pitch middle in and just did a great job of turning on that. 5th consecutive World Series game with a home run.
Family's clearing off shelf space for the MVP award, which is feeling inevitable at this point. Bottom of the first, Yankees with the runner on. Aaron Judge strikes out swinging, 7th strikeout in 3 games in the series for Judge, who continues to struggle. Stanton's next. The ground ball ends the inning, and Walker Buehler, whose velo was big and good late life on everything, was scoreless through 1. To the third now, Shohei Ohtani with a runner at first, grounds to the right side. Tommy Edman advances, productive out for Shohei, still kind of nursing that shoulder. Mookie Betts now, after an epic at-bat where he just kept fouling off pitches to stay alive. Get off me, jam shot into right. We're going to break this down in a moment. Tommy Edman scores. It's 3-0 L.A., and a quiet Yankee Stadium draws even more pensive. I mean, you talk about making an adjustment.
Great job pulling his hands in and getting that ball to right.
To the 4th now. Stanton at second after doubling. Anthony Volpe with 2 out. Base hit. Here come the Yankees, right? Not so, says Teoscar Hernandez. They send Gio having a hard time getting around, and a perfect throw nails him at home plate.
Put that right on the money, but, you know, G rounding third base. Thought he was going to make it, but Teoscar made a great throw home.
I mean, this was talked about a lot last night. Do you send him or not? We'll have our thoughts on it here in a bit. It's still 3-0 L.A. Top of the 6th inning. Now, Walker Buehler getting the congrats from the dugout. He was great. Jake Cousins now for New York facing Kike Hernandez, runner at second. And it's 4-0 Los Angeles.
How good has Kike been, too? I mean, a lot of the role players, the guys that aren't the superstars in that lineup, they have been great for the Dodgers, especially Kike Hernandez.
To the 9th, bottom of the 9th inning, Michael Kopech to try to end it. Alex Verdugo giving the home side a little chance here with a 2-run shot.
Brought a little bit of life back to Yankee Stadium there with 2 outs in the 9th. But it was going to be too little, too late.
Next up is Gleyber Torres. And a ground ball to shortstop would end the game, end the potential comeback for the home side. Dodgers win it 4-2. They take a commanding 3-0 series lead, and they look to wrap things up in the Bronx tonight. Walker Buehler was great. It all started there. Clark Schmidt had trouble locating. Ironically, it was his cutter that kind of failed him. We talked about his cutter yesterday being his best weapon. He threw that cutter only 29% strike rate yesterday. Struggled, was pulled early. Really, the culprit was the lineup for the New York Yankees, which failed to produce anything interesting again. I mean, people are waiting for this lineup. At what point, Case, do you credit Dodger pitching and you stop ripping on the Yankees for being unproductive?
Listen, I think that's it, Matty. The reason the teams are here at this level is because they got great pitching. So when you get to the World Series, especially on the National League side, when you had to go through the Padres, you had to go through the Mets, all of a sudden you do that with great pitching. And I think you have to give us some credit to that Dodger pitching. The guys, Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Buehler have been great. And that bullpen, Matty, is absolutely been lights out.
It's the little things, too. I mean, if we were to micro-focus on the two-strike count, Aaron Judge has been in a two-strike count in two-thirds of his plate appearances in this World Series. Like, it feels like every time he's in there, 1-2, 0-2, and he's in trouble. The two-strike count on the other side has been something where the Dodgers have been able to produce. In fact, they had two big plays yesterday in two-strike counts. We talked about that Betts hit. How about Freddie's homer? This came in a two-strike count yesterday.
Yeah, I think one thing about this lineup is that with two strikes, they battle, they put the ball in play. I think that's what makes them so dangerous.
And then the Betts hit. I mean, this is just a little thing, and it's the perfect play that tells you everything you want to know about where these two sides are. Tommy Edman got a great jump on that little flare, ended up scoring easily. Juan Soto didn't get a great jump defensively, and it cost a run. Dodgers are a good base running team. The Yankees have had some defensive trouble, and it all crystallized in that one moment.
Yeah, the Dodgers have been so good. You're right, Matty, in every facet of the game. Their base running has been great. Defensively, they've been great. They're hitting with two strikes. They're putting the ball play. They're hitting for power. They're doing everything right now that a championship team does.
Freddie Freeman's been the guy leading the power charge, and it's time for In the Making, presented by Adobe. Let's break down Freddie and what he's been doing.
Oh, man. I tell you what, when I look at Freddie, he said something the other night after Game 1 when he hit that grand slam, and I think it sets up what he's been doing. I want to show you what that is right now.
I wanted to see how he was going to attack Shohei. So I was just watching his at-bats, and it was cutters and sliders away with heaters up. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to look a little closer, which is not what I normally do. I'm trying to look out over and hit line drives at shortstop, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to be on time for this heater. I'm going to be on top of the heater, and I'm going to look a little closer so I don't swing.
And I'm going to be the hero.
I wasn't thinking that. I was just trying to get a base hit to score those 2 runs. But I was just looking closer because I wanted to just be able to check off the cutter and slider away. And, you know, he threw it right in the lane I was looking in, thankfully. But I was just trying to be on top of the heater and on time because I was getting a lot of heaters from, like, Weaver, and I was just missing them. And I just wanted to be on time and give myself the best chance. And, you know, I had a plan and approach, and usually when you have those, good things happen usually.
So good right there, Matty. So good. Approach, a plan on top of the plate. Listen, this is his approach. Look middle way, react in. This one right here on Nestor Cortez, he had such a good approach and a plan on him. He was looking for that ball middle in and got it. But this one right here, if you set up and watch Freddie Freeman, this is why he's so good. He's looking out over the plate. Anything that's in, he's going to react to. You see right there, he's looking for that heater away, 97 and up. But the takes are so good. This is, when you have this approach, look middle way, react in, the takes are so good. And then, bam, that's a reaction. He's not looking in there off Carlos Rodon. I promise you. That's a reaction pitch up and in. And then we saw last night, takes that first pitch, sweeper right there, ball's middle way. But you can tell his body language, that front shoulder's in. He's looking out over the plate, gets to 1-2, and then bam, he gets that ball middle in, 93. Just a reaction, approach, and a plan. And when you look at Freddie Freeman, why he's so good, why he's so tough to pitch to, is that he can go line to line, and he's so good. But you see, with the fastballs in, since 2021, this guy absolutely hammers the ball. But I love what he said before, Matt. He says, I'm looking to go to line drives over the shortstop's head. Anything that's middle in is really just a reaction. That's why you hit 300. That's why you drive in 100. That's why you hit 30 home runs. And that's why you're a line-to-line guy. You saw his first hit in Game 1 of the World Series was a bullet down the left field line for that triple. So when you look at Freddie Freeman right now, this is a tough guy to pitch to because he's covering both sides of the plate, which is tough to do.
It's one of my favorite quotes from a World Series in the last, I don't know, 5-10 years. I just want to stay on time for the heater.
Yeah.
As though he's some Punch and Judy, you know, $2 hitter who just came up from Triple A that has no chance.
So good.
He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, this guy, and he stays humble, and he's so transparent with his approach. I love listening to him talk about hitting, too.
Love it.
All right, so, and we're going to talk about how he matches up against Luis Gil a little bit later on in this show because he homers again, and the World Series record belongs to him. And there is a chance that Freddie Freeman goes deep. We'll lay that out for you later. Let's listen to Dave Roberts, first of all, on his post-game comments on where the Dodgers are being up 3-0.
You're one of the few people on earth who know what it's like to come back from a 3-0 deficit.
Don't talk about that. Wrong guy. Way too early. There's just got to be urgency. I just don't want to let these guys up for air.
Like that. And, of course, referencing the Red Sox team that he came back with, the only team that's come back in the best of 7 from an 0-3 deficit. I believe it, too. I think the Dodgers are going to manage this thing tonight, Game 4, up 3-0, as though it's Game 7 all locked up at 3.
I agree. I love what Dave Roberts said there, urgency. This isn't over until it's over, and he knows better than anybody that it's not. So I agree with you, Matty. I think they're gonna come out. It's gonna be a bullpen game, but they're gonna match up as best they can. If they get the lead, they're gonna try and squash this thing tonight in New York.
What's one of the keys to winning a bullpen game? Score an S-ton of runs.
Yeah.
And they have, right? They've won 2 of their 3 bullpen games, and they've outscored opponents 21-12 in those games. Wow. So when you bombard the other staff, your bullpen can breathe a little bit, and if you have one of the 7 or 8 guys that has a clunker or a hiccup, it's not going to matter because you've already posted 7 or 8 runs. That's been their formula.
The formula is try to get up early and then just lock it down with that pen. And you talk about the arms that are coming out of that pen too, Matty. There's some power arms. That's a real matchup problem when you're a hitter having to face different guys every time up.
Yeah, we're not hearing anybody talking about the weakness of the Dodgers bullpen.
No.
Because that was talked about a lot early in the postseason. LA